Welcome to the Journey to Happy podcast, a podcast dedicated to help you in the process of getting out of your own way and letting go of the mental barriers that have been self-created that stand on the way of you and the emotional freedom and happiness that you so desire. I am Olga, your host, and in here I'm going to offer you raw but real examples that will help you step into the shoes of becoming the CEO of your own life. Because let's face it, in a world where you can be anyone you want, why not promote yourself to the CEO position? I cannot wait to see you inside. Hey guys, welcome to yet another month in the membership. I am excited to be sharing with you on this particular subject because, as all the other ones, I think that it matters. And if you haven't yet watched the perfectionist video, I highly suggest you watch that one first. Because in order to dive into authenticity, which is this month's theme, it's very important that you do your work on understanding where the perfectionist in you is coming from. And so if you have not done that, I highly suggest that you put a pause on this video, go back and watch The Perfectionist Mind before this one. For anybody else who's watched this, welcome. I think we're going to have fun. I know that many of you have done really great work trying to understand where your perfectionist mind comes from. And by now, you're probably clear that there is an underlying feeling of unworthiness. We don't like to hear it, we like to fight it. But truth be told, the main reason we want to be perfect is so that we can be valued and loved. And we hope deep inside that by getting people's approval and people's love, we then give ourselves permission to love ourselves. So in this video, I want to really focus on downloading self-love. When I talk and when I think about being authentic, I immediately come back to my confidence in self. And when I think about my confidence in self, I cannot tell you what that is without talking about love and the infinite power and confidence and validation that comes from love. And I am not talking about the love that comes from other people, but the love within. That's the love that I'm going to be talking about. So if you're thinking at this moment, how does being authentic have to do with love? Well, if you learn to love yourself fully as you are no longer going to be looking to be like everybody else or looking at changing and shifting so that you become similar to the people around you, but you're going to stand in pride of who you are because you're going to radiate that self-love from within, and then you're going to notice that people's opinions and judgments of yourself are less important. In fact, not important at all. So I'm going to go through a series of subjects, and I'm hoping that in the end, this all makes sense to you. But thankfully, we do have 2 calls where you can come and ask me questions, and we can go back into some of these concepts. I really urge you to do that, in fact. I want you to come with your questions, and I want you to be able to understand these concepts well enough so that you know you can integrate it. And if this sounds like a lot of information, let it just go through you, process it in your own time, and take from this whatever speaks to you the most. Also, an option is to just listen to the video and do nothing else. You don't have to take this to your own personal life. You can just hear this video and this message that I have to share and do whatever you want with it. But I really do hope that if you are somebody who is constantly worrying about people's opinions of yourself, this would allow you and give you permission to worry a little bit less. And even if you don't find yourself being really anxious about what people think of you, but this message does speak to you, try to then ask yourself, okay, so what is one thing I'm gonna grab out of this message that actually speaks to me that I can apply to myself? Why do we care about people's opinions of ourselves? I touched a little bit about this in our perfectionist video. We want to feel accepted. That is a universal human desire. Every single one of us wants to feel accepted. We want to belong. We want to be loved. And we want to fit in. No matter who and how confident we are, everybody has that human desire. So as humans, we all want to fit in. We all want to feel a sense of belonging. And we understand that, but we can only fit in and feel belong if others accept us. So of course, there is this natural desire to be liked by others. And so there is that desire of wanting to be liked. And then there is this unhealthy extreme by which we may take this desire, where we want everybody to accept us, everybody to love us, everybody to like us, everybody's judgment to be positive about us, and where we mistakenly tell ourselves that the only way in which we can be liked and accepted and where we can feel that we belong is if we behave and do the things that please others. So if we become 100% people pleasers and we're attentive to what we think they want from us. And so before we know it, we're in this catch-22 where we're trying to figure it out. What does Olga want me to behave? What will please her? Okay, and I'm going to do that and behave that way. But if Olga's needs change, I'm going to have to change my personality a little bit to fit that. And then Olga's going to say, I'm changing. And I'm going to be like, what? I'm just trying to make you happy. Your happiness makes me happy. And we lose ourselves in that process. And that's a really sad moment. Losing ourselves while trying to be liked and valued is a real tragedy. Now, I want you to stick to this word of authenticity. I hope it speaks to you the same it speaks to me, as strongly as it speaks to me. Being authentic to me, and your perception might be different, and that's fair. Being authentic to me means being honest. I attach the two very much so. And a huge value that's been passed on to me in my family. I come from a lineage of lawyers in my family, honest lawyers. The value of honesty was passed on to me highly, highly strongly. Not just because of their profession, but I think because of that profession, even more so. There was a lot more vigilancy in my home about honesty. But I believe that my grandfather and my mom and the people who studied law in my family studied law because within them they had such a strong value with equality and honesty and justice. And those feelings are so close to my heart as well. And it might be the same to you, maybe not so strongly, but it is one of my top values, is to be honest. I appreciate honesty so much that if a friend told me the truth and it sucked to hear it, the fact that I knew somebody was being honest softens the blow, if you know what I mean. For me, honesty, I appreciate it at such a high level. I see it as such a big, great virtue and value that I rather be hurt by knowing the truth than not, that just being in the dark and not knowing what's going on. So I'm telling you this because this is how for me it was so easy to turn on the light into what I was doing wrong, or not wrong, but where I was not attaching my values to the right place. And so when it came to a relationship, what I was doing was being loyal for sure, and honest in every possible way. However, I wasn't staying true to myself, and I was disconnecting from my light, from who I was, for no reason. Nobody was asking me to do that, only because I have a mental trap. One that I'm going to dive into here with you guys, that I touched briefly in the detoxifying of the mind, sorry, in the perfectionism, which is the black or white mentality, but there's more mental traps. And so I want to dive into those, because I think that it's important for us to know what we're in our thinking. Are we having a distortion with our thinking that is making us think and feel that the only way for us to have love within, it has to come from positive evaluations of others about us? Okay. So that's sort of like my personal story. When I was able to recognize that what I was doing was being dishonest in a way, by not being authentic, by not saying, no, I don't like that, thank you, by trying so hard to imagine who is it that this person wants to see in me and becoming that was not being honest and authentic. That was like an act. And so when people say I'm a people pleaser and they're like so happy about this, in my mind I'm thinking, so you're always acting. Wow, that must be exhausting. Wouldn't you like to not have to act and just be yourself always? I know that's the dream. I know that's the dream for all of us. We want to just walk on on earth with our own 2 feet, knowing that I know who I am and I'm just walking around showing the world who I am. So this is all about downloading. I really like that concept of downloading love within you. It is so easy to park our needs, to park our desires, to park our thoughts and our opinions and hide them, because we think that if we express them, somebody else is going to judge us in a not favorable way. It is so easy to do that, but so damaging. The cost of doing that, it's huge. And the biggest cost is the lack of authenticity with yourself will ruin your relationship with you. And maybe already it has, which is why it feels so difficult to begin to let go of this concept that you don't need other people to love and accept every part of you. You don't need every person you know to favorably think of you, because you realize that has nothing to do with your inner love. That has to do with them and their opinions, and they're who they are. I want you to know that behind the wanting to be liked and wanting people's judgment of you to be positive, there is definitely anxiety and shame and perfectionism and perhaps some trauma. So maybe this has to do with an abusive childhood, or maybe you had parents who were emotionally distant or verbally abusive. Maybe you were bullied at school. Maybe there was somebody influential in your life whose presence made you not feel worthy. Or maybe none of this is the case, and you self-created this anxiety and this need to wanting to be perfect. And sometimes it's not even abusive. It could be your family dynamics. It could be that you had a brother or a sister who was very sick and needed a lot of attention, and all of our parents' attention went into that person. And in the meantime, we started to tell ourselves, okay, people don't have time for me. I might not be worthy of that. I have to be good. You know, that I also see this very commonly in the dynamic of the family. If you were the good kid, and then you think like, I can never misbehave because I become not the good kid, will my parents be equally happy? We become like really, really attached to praise. And so one of the things that I'm actually very aware, and I'm going off the tangent here for a moment, one of the things I'm really aware with my own son is that I don't want to over celebrate things for him. I don't want him to always be looking for that outside reassurance. If he does something good, I will definitely say good, but I'm not going to be like, yeah. So each time he does something, he's looking at me to celebrate with him, because I want him to just celebrate himself. And you know what? I see him. I see him like skipping his play zone and he claps to himself. That's amazing. I need to do it too. If he's doing it, that's great. He's learning to self-celebrate. And this is something that I am aware of, but most of our parents probably weren't. And so unbeknown to us, we've been conditioned to always be wanting this reassurance from the outside world that we're doing an okay job. And if we didn't get that at all, then you can also understand why at some point you developed is like, no, I honestly need everybody to tell me that I'm doing okay, so I can hear my parents' voice saying like, not good enough. Okay. So this is for you to do just a little bit of trying to understand. I don't get stuck in the why. The why is less important to me. But it is, in this particular case, I want you to sort of understand that it might not be your fault, that something might have happened in your life that caused some of these insecurities and this wrong perception that you are not worthy, that you're not enough, and that your value is zero, and therefore you must get people to give you value so that you can feel valuable. I'm having a hard time talking, so hopefully I can make it through and you guys understand everything I'm saying. So let's go through some of the things that you can do to start caring less about what people think. Obviously, everything that I'm telling you here is to change your mindset. This is a reset your mindset program. So it's all about this. The first thing is to keep things in perspective. So many times we actually lose perspective, and we're so close to the elephant that all we see is like a patch that is gray. But if we can step back and look at the whole elephant, we can be reminded that is not necessarily the thing that we're thinking about is everything. There is one perception I like telling people who are really preoccupied with being liked or judged in a favorable way. People have a lot of thoughts in their mind at all times, like you. So when you're meeting somebody new and you're in your mind going, oh my God, did I shake their hand too hard? Did I not? Am I smiling too much? Am I red? Am I red? Like all these thoughts. Guess what? Let me just offer you another perspective. They might be going through the same thing. So they haven't had a chance to judge you because they're working their own thoughts about what they think you're thinking about them. I'm just going to leave that out there, because if it happens to you, it's very possible that it happens to more people. In fact, the fact that I am doing a video about this means that this is a theme that has come up a lot of times in my one-on-one sessions with people. And so you can rest assured this is not unique to you, and this is also happening to other people. So I like to give this example, just like I give the example or I ask you, do you like everybody you meet? Every single person? Nobody has ever answered yes to me to that. And so the point there too is, just like you don't like everybody, not everybody's gonna like you. And in that moment, most of the people I talk to can make sense, like, oh yeah, I guess that's okay. That's okay. Now, I know that there's still an insecure part of it that says, like, that's not okay. What if that person is my boss or somebody, like, it impacts me? So I just want you to think about that. Keep things in perspective. You're not money to be liked by everybody. Everybody likes money. If you're not it, then you have to think that they might also be going through their own overthinking of, like, how that introduction went, and or they might have liked you. That's also another perception. So when we're talking about perceptions, and when you're so caught up in something, I just want you to think of this elephant. Am I so close to the elephant? All I'm saying is like this tiny little gray patch and forgot that there's a whole elephant. Perception means we have the ability to step back and look at many other ways, many other angles, and hopefully not all around the same, like they didn't like me, but that you can see, okay, I need to have a new perspective. What other perspectives could I have? The fact that they don't have time to think about you because they are also working out their own thoughts is one of them. The fact that they liked you and they're amazed by you is also one, right? So include all of your perceptions. The other advice that I would say to stop caring is to question your thinking. And this is when I'm going to go into the cognitive distortions. So humans, we tend towards cognitive distortions. These are patterns of negative thinking, also known as unhelpful thinking. It can hurt your mood and your behavior. So for example, we may assume the worst. I didn't hear from my husband. He must be dead. You just jump to the worst case scenario. Anybody here who does it? It's called catastrophe thinking. We catastrophize. We go to the worst case scenario and we don't even stop to think, maybe he lost his phone, maybe he's having fun, maybe he forgot his phone, like something else. No, I go straight to the worst case scenario. That's one mental trap. That's one cognitive distortion or a negative pattern of thinking or unhelpful pattern of thinking. We talked about the perfectionist mind, which is the black or white. I'm either 100% committed to doing my exercise, or I don't do exercise at all. Like if I want to exercise twice a week, that doesn't work. I cannot do it. I actually told myself that so many times, which will lead to me not exercising, because unless I was willing to go every day at 6 a.m., I just couldn't. Only I told myself that, right? So that's a distortion. Like there is no other realities. This is why it's called cognitive distortion. A thought that is away from reality, outside from reality. We also have the selective thinking. So if I go to a party and I'm thinking the entire time, I cannot do small talk, and this is running through my head, I may selectively be focusing only on my inability to do small talk. So no matter what else happened, how other conversations I may have had, my main focus is only going to be on filtering when I couldn't have small conversations. The other one we do similar to that one is read minds. Hi, friend. I am interrupting you. You're listening here just for a moment because I want you to hear firsthand about my membership reset. Many moons ago, I was searching for a person to work with. Not a therapist, not a teacher, but someone down to earth that wouldn't preach or look at me with pity and hold my hand and tell me everything was going to be okay. Nope. I wanted somebody who would challenge me and keep me accountable, but who would also normalize whatever my mind was going through. I knew I really enjoyed reading books about personal growth, and I dreamt of having a life coach all of my own, but at the time I didn't have the resources to afford one. I also knew that I could reach higher potential everywhere in my life if only I had somebody who could show me the how to get there, who could point at the blockages in my own thinking, who could show me how I was self-sabotaging and the how to get out of that. And that, my friends, is why I created Reset. Reset is a membership that actually gives the members exactly what I was looking for. A therapist, coach, life coach, mindset coach, all at easy access, all in one place. So this membership gives you access to monthly mindset trainings, like the ones you're listening in the month of January here. And it also gives you the opportunity to work at your own pace through a workbook that I personally create as I create the videos. And you have access to me Monday to Friday on a private Facebook group where sometimes I go live to answer questions, as well as you get a 1-hour call with other members for office hours. So whatever you're working through, you can come live and ask me questions. You can also submit them anonymously if you are not much of a crowd person. And so, really, Reset is a membership that takes away the pressures of doing therapy if you don't need it, but keeps you in the loop of doing work on areas that are really important to you. The membership focuses on 4 pillars: the mind, the heart, self-care, and the body. So each month I rotate through one of these pillars, and the video and the conversations and the journaling prompts are all about that one thing. If this sounds exciting to you, here's the best part. All of that you get for $97 a month. You guys, $97 a month. Way cheaper than a therapist, way cheaper than a life coach. And it gives you so much support each and every month that you're a member. If this speaks to you, head over to the show notes and you can sign up today. That's the beauty. You can sign up at any given point. The commitment is 3 months. You have to be with us for minimum 3 months because I know you care about transformation. And let's be honest, it takes time to change the way we think. So give yourself minimum 3 months, but I hope for you to stay longer. And I hope to see you inside. I think I hear this one a lot of the times, most of the times when I'm talking to my clients who are worried about what others think. Olga, I know they don't like me. And so I ask, did they tell you they don't like you? No, but they made a face. I just could tell. Or I know they were thinking it. They didn't say it, but they were thinking it. You guys, I mean, as a minority, I have experienced discrimination. And I know what it's like to be able to say, like, that was very subtle, but there was an undertone of discrimination. And you go crazy because you really want to prove it, but you don't have any evidence. But I also know that I don't walk around trying to look for how I'm going to be discriminated against because I look or sound different. So when it happens, I'm like, that doesn't feel right. Why is it not feeling right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the thoughts you may have and beliefs you may have about yourself and how you walk around thinking this is my reality. And then you think you know what people are thinking when you have zero evidence that that's in fact what they're thinking. So for example, when you're meeting somebody and they shake hands awkwardly, they don't look at you and whatever, you might assume they didn't like me. They didn't want to look at myself. What if they were just doing what I told you? The same kind of thought, oh my God, they're going to look at me. I didn't put my makeup on. What is she going to think? What is he going to think? You see where I'm going with this? So sometimes we assume we know things we don't know. We assume what people think. We assume what the future holds. We're now like future tellers. Those are all cognitive distortions. So how do we do this? It's like letting go of the perfectionist mind. Things don't have to be just it's like paying attention to your thoughts and noticing that the thoughts you're having are coming from a pattern of cognitive distortions. And so when you catch yourself just filtering that, could it be that the only thing that happened tonight was that I couldn't do small talk? Do I have evidence to believe that what Olga was thinking, or did she actually say what she was thinking? The nice thing about being authentic is that you speak your mind so people know exactly what you're thinking. and you can ask questions and you can say, like, hold on, I'm having this perception here. Could this be true? And you don't go home wondering if what you're thinking is the truth or not. So here, what I want you to remember is that you've got to question your thinking. Do not believe everything you think about. Put a stop to that thought and ask yourself, could this be categorized as a cognitive distortion? And if the answer is yes, then you know that you are stepping outside of reality to catastrophize, to do black or white mentality, to filter only what you want to see, to do mind reading, future telling, something along those lines where you are stepping away from reality so that you can continue to support your belief that you are not worthy and that your value comes straight from other people and not from within. So get to know yourself, really spend the time getting to know yourself. Because if you have been spending a long time pleasing others, I promise you, there are things about yourself you no longer know. So how nice to know it. How nice to know what you like, what you don't like, what you stand for. What are your thoughts about politics, about religion, about faith, about exercise, about where to live, about climate change? Like, get to know yourself. How do you feel about things? And then the more you get to know yourself, the stronger that relationship with yourself is, the easier it is to say, actually, no, I don't. I've come to understand that I don't like, I don't know, swimming. There's a time in our life where, as we're growing into adulthood, that we start thinking, okay, my parents have been teaching me to be Catholic, but do I really want to be Catholic? Let me think about this. My parents have been teaching me to, I don't know, go to church every Sunday. I'm keeping up with the faith. But the different things that you may have experienced, to play golf, to play tennis. And at some point we start saying, like, actually, I didn't like tennis that much more, so I'm going to stop. We all become authentic at some point. We're becoming our own humans. But ladies, at some point also we forgot about that. And we told ourselves that in order to be successful, people must like us. And not just people, everybody. And so that's when we get into trouble. So get back to knowing yourself and think back of the years when you were like, actually, mom, hockey doesn't work for me anymore. Or, mom, I'm no longer going to church. That's not my thing. I don't believe in that. We have all done this. So it's not that complicated. And we did it when we had a lot less resources in our hands and a lot less maturity. Or at least most of us have. And if you have not had the chance to stand up for yourself yet, to understand who is it that you are, what is it that you like, what do you stand for, what are your values, what are your likes, what are your goals for the future, what do you want to be when you grow up? I still ask myself that all the time. I was telling my coach the other day, I want to do that when I grow up. And she laughed. And I'm like, I'm never going to stop saying this. I always want to have these dreams of places, of things that I want to be, that I want to step into, that I want to become when I grow up. So I'm always having an opportunity to grow up. So that's my thing. Get to know yourself. I like this one. I am a big fan of community. As you probably already know, most of what I teach is in a group setting like here. I do that very purposefully, and it has to do with this point. The point is, find your tribe. Find the people who you feel are authentic. And their authenticity gives you the inspiration to also be authentic. The people that you can identify with and that you appreciate, don't waste time trying to hang out with those who expect you to conform to their wishes and wants. Cultivate authenticity, your authenticity, with those who mean something to you. Hello, people pleasers. Do you realize that as a person pleaser, you're pleasing everyone? The ones that you care about, the ones you don't care about. You're like, I just must say yes to everything and like please everyone, even though I don't even know you. I don't know if I'm going to see you again. Listen, guys, part of being authentic is learning all about boundaries, which we'll go back into, and learning to lean on the group of people that actually matter to you. When it comes, this is the part that I find very interesting about when we're so worried about being liked by everybody. That when it comes down to how many people actually matter to us, the numbers are small. They fit in our hands. I've got lots of family I love, but really, if my second cousin doesn't care or doesn't like the way my hair looks, I couldn't care less. Or if she doesn't want to talk to me again, honestly, not much is going to change in my life. there is a few people that are so important to me that I care to be in a very authentic relationship with them, because I want to have a strong bond with them. My son, one of them, right? Like, I just want to be authentic. I will never not show my son that I'm upset, because moms don't get upset. Never. I will never want to model for him perfectionism, or else I don't love myself. I want to show him and my husband and my loved ones and my nieces and nephews and myself that I have the courage to download love, inner love, no matter what. Now, we don't need to do this with every single person. We don't. That's why you have your tribe. Find your tribe, stick to them, and this is your people. These are the people that you are going to choose to be authentic to, and that you're going to be inspired by them and inspire them to be authentic. You're going to have this strong connection with them. My next point is to allow yourself to be vulnerable. Now, when many of us think about vulnerability, we think of weakness. We think of not being safe. I am a trained social worker, and I am a big fan of Brené Brown, who's also a social worker. She has a PhD in social work, and she's done some pretty incredible research about the happiest people. And so in one of her books, Daring Greatly, and actually most of her books, all of her books, her books come from her research. She's come to understand that the happiest people of all people are the ones who take the risk to be authentic enough to let themselves be vulnerable. Those who have discomfort in showing that they're sad, that they're in pain, that they're angry, but they do it anyways. Those who say, I love you, without knowing that the other person loves them back. They're saying it because they had the feeling and they wanted to be authentic to their feeling. The happiest people are the ones who are okay being vulnerable, who don't understand vulnerability as a weakness and unsafety, but as courage. Courage to be who they are at all times, no matter what. Those who speak out to take the risk, who face disapproval with big girl pants. Those who are not afraid of going against the grain because they rather stand with their values. And that they decide that what matters most to them is to be trusted. So I encourage you and I urge you to be vulnerable, because that means you're courageous, because that means that you are no longer thinking about what makes who happy before thinking what makes me happy. And it is a stand of willing to say, I don't know. And I'm not going to think less of myself because I don't know. Or I made a mistake and I'm going to own up to it. That's what being vulnerable means. And if you're okay being vulnerable, then somebody's opinion of you not being so favorable does not matter as much anymore. Because you're going to be okay with that feeling of rejection. You're going to let it be and exist. Lastly, I want you to be your own friend. We've talked about this before. This is the whole purpose of the whole purpose behind wanting to reset our mindset, is that we can show up as our own best friends. So, no matter what you do, no matter what you do, no matter what others think, if you've got a good friend on your end, you're going to feel supported. You're going to feel like this is going to be okay, because it will be. You're going to be able to look on the bright side when there is darkness. Otherwise, you're going to be able to accept the things that have gone wrong, the mistakes you've made, and you're going to be able to forgive and move on and focus on what really matters. All of those things are accessible to you the day you make the choice to be a good friend to yourself. Now, I happen to know most of you in this program at a personal level. We've either had one-on-ones or you've taken enough of my courses that I've gotten to know you. And I know each of you have a beautiful, beautiful big heart. And that I would love to be your friends. If I wasn't your coach, I'll definitely be your friend. Why? Because you're loyal, you're solid, you're intelligent, you're kind, you're compassionate, you're patient. Can you be all those things with you? Befriend yourself. Now, how does that look like? How do you befriend yourself? Whenever you catch the mean voice talking to you, saying like, how dare you make this mistake? Who's ever going to trust you? People who are worthy don't make mistakes. Lie, 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 lie. Mean voice, mean voice, mean voice. Bully, bully, bully. When you notice that, say, hold on, what would this sound like if I was a good friend of me? I have leaned so heavily into befriending myself. I've grown compassion for myself, and that inner self-talk for me has changed drastically, and so has my relationship with self, where I'm not feeding the monster. I am no longer thinking like not in non-awareness. I'm no longer not observing my thoughts. I am observing my thoughts. I am observing my inner dialogue, and I'm choosing to have a friendly dialogue. How do you talk to a friend? Talk to yourself that way. Be honest and kind. That's what you need from you to you. So how do we get this downloading of love? You guys, I say this a lot of times, but it's the truth. The first step to download that inner self-love is by making the choice. So today you're watching this video and you're going to decide that you're going to download inner love. And you're going to do that in a variety of ways. Maybe you want to set the intention that from now on, you're going to live intentionally by befriending yourself. That you're going to catch everything that happens in your mind that is not in alignment with somebody who's friendly to you, and you're going to then shift that around to be friendly. You are going to utilize the moments where you're judging yourself really harsh, especially when you think others are judging you. That's your own judgment in there. But you're going to catch it, and you're going to say to yourself something else, a different story, a new perspective. What would a friend tell me? How can I make this easier on myself? This is already hard. I'm freaking out. How can I make this easier? Guilt, shame, feeling bad saying no because poor them. They sound like good feelings. It sounds like it comes from a good place because you're a caring person, but it's not. Saying no when you mean to say no makes you honest. Saying yes, but with some limits makes you honest, makes you respectful towards yourself. Not being available for treatment that you don't like makes you respectful towards yourself. That's what a friend would do. So if you're very happy being a people pleaser and you feel awfully bad about saying no, I want to challenge that, because the cost you're paying for that feeling bad is too high. If you guys have ever called a friend, ask a favor, and they said no, you survived it. We understand when we ask favors that they may say yes or they may say no. Even if we get mad that they said no, we get past that. We might understand why they said no, we might not. That's not our problem. But if you call me at 2 p.m. and I'm coaching or I'm taking care of my son and you tell me to go to the airport and pick up a box that doesn't fit I'm sorry, I'm going to say, no, I can't. Nor do I feel like doing that. There is a way around communicating authentically that is respectful towards others, but that is always based on the truth. And this is what this work of being authentic is all about. What's my authentic self wanting to do here? So if it could be as simple as me asking you to go out for coffee. If you don't feel it, say no. You know, if you get a phone call today from a telemarketer and they're asking you to buy something that you don't need, you can easily say no, right? Because you tell yourself, oh, who are they to bother me? Well, I want that same ease for you to say no when you know strongly you don't want to go do something that somebody's asking you. Just because people ask for help doesn't mean we have to say yes, guys. No is an answer. And I want you to feel it. I want you to feel how you feel and then honor that. And how do we honor that? By staying truthful, honest to that feeling. Sometimes we have to do difficult things in order to stay authentic. It's worth it. It is worth it. It's worth it to feel in alignment with our thoughts and our emotions and our behavior. When all of those three things align, we feel really good. Our confidence goes up. Because now I know that inner Olga is being taken care of. And that feels good. What people pleaser do, we quiet that inner voice. Shut up, Olga. Not today. You got to make everybody else happy. Your needs, not this time. What do you think happens over time with that behavior? What will happen to a friend if every time they talk, you tell them to shut up? You don't have time for them. Well, eventually that friend will either stop talking, but maybe not. But there will be no trust. They'll have zero security in you. So lack of confidence creeps in. And then because you've been pleasing everybody, you no longer know what you like. So you feel lost. You see how important this work is? I am not asking you to jump from being not confident to being the most confident woman. I'm asking you to start making the steps of letting love get downloaded internally by choice, with strength, with courage, because you're worthy of that. You're going to choose today that inner love makes sense and that you want to love yourself the way you would love to be loved by somebody else. Love yourself that way. Release yourself from the barriers of receiving your own love. There is an art and a power in receiving, and I want you to stay open to that. So you guys, how can we download love? For me, the easiest and fastest and strongest way has been to really observe, using mindfulness to observe my thoughts, my inner conversation, and interject the crap out of that conversation if it's not friendly. If it's not friendly, I stop it and I said, no, hold on, let me clarify things. Inner voice. It's not that you're stupid, is that you're tired, you haven't slept, and you forgot this. It's natural. I would actually stop and talk to myself and reframe the way I'm thinking or the way I said something to myself. I also use my imagination a lot. So I visualize love. I really do. If I feel that somebody is being rude or mean and they're not, like, say I'm going to the grocery store and the teller is not friendly at all and is rude and is talking loud and she seems in a bad mood, because I don't want to take it personally, I simply visualize like she means things with love. And or me sending love to her because she must be having a shitty day. And you know what? I've had shitty days where maybe I come across that way. So I'm not going to take it personally because this person doesn't even know me. So why would she be mad at me? But I'm going to send love. And if they do know you and you feel that they're upset at you, also you can visualize them loving you anyways. So that helps us kind of like navigate to like, oh, someone is really mad at me. But I'm visualizing them sending love to me. So I know that they love me anyways. Because when we're so anxious about being how we're perceived, we think that love is like a switch, on and off, on and off. Oh, they like me now? They hate me now. It's like that easy. How long does it take you to love somebody? Think about it. A while. How long does it take you to not love somebody? Also a while. It's not a switch, on and off, on and off. Even if you do get into a lot of disagreements, even if you do get into a lot of fights that don't sound pretty, love is not an on and off kind of thing. So I visualize this love, these interactions with love. Before I go to bed, you can write this down. I choose to download love. I allow my mind and my spirit to download love while I sleep. And so it's simply like a practice of submitting to my unconscious mind that I want self-love to come my way. And so I'm working on this. And I don't see it as like, oh my God, it's so hard to love myself. But it's the easiest thing I've ever done. Literally, I tell myself this. It is the easiest thing that I've ever done is to love myself because I am truly loving. Not gonna lie, I am. So are you. And I want you to assume that attitude. You're easy to love. You guys, you probably love people that don't deserve your love and you're like just there loving them. Why will you not have the same beautiful attitude towards yourself? So being authentic does not have to be uncomfortable, does not have to be rude and mean, like you're telling people, I don't care about you, okay? This is me being authentic. No, we're still respectful and we're still, I think, respect and honor and loving and kind. We're still good humans. This perception we have that we're not good, we're not a good person if we say no, if we say I can't, if we say I don't want to, if we say thank you for the gift, I don't really like it. I've done that. It's not crazy. Thank you. It's just really not my color, but I really appreciate the gesture. How many times do we just go with something that they give us that we don't like? We're like, God, I'm gonna have to put this on. I know I've done it. I don't do that anymore. Why would I do that? Why would I give them the impression that everything is okay when not everything is okay? So I get this question often, so I'm going to address it now, but we're probably going to talk about it in one of our calls. Does being authentic mean that you have to say everything? Absolutely not. Some things, even though that's your truth, doesn't mean that you have to speak it. It's not needed. Nobody needs to know. If it doesn't change anything, no. But if I'm asking you, looking at your eyes and saying, do you want to go swimming with me? And when you hear this question, all you hear in your inner voice is like, nah. And you say like, sure. Then you're stepping away from authenticity. Does it mean that I walk around with this sweater and you don't like it and then you go, ooh, okay, I don't like your sweater? No, I didn't ask for your opinion. You don't have to give it to me. Right? Like that's not here. But if I ask you, hey, do you like this? Do you think it looks good on me? And you don't think so? Say that. I was saying this to one of the groups of women that I coach. What kind of friend do you rather have? I personally rather have one that tells me the truth. Don't let me go to prom with a dress that does not suit my figure. Please be a friend that says, not your color, not your dress. Rather than the friends that, oh, no, it's good. You're good. I don't think you look good, but I can't tell you that. That's going to hurt you. So I'm just instead going to let you go in a way that I don't think is suited to you. Or I'm not going to tell you when you were wrong because I'm your friend. I don't want to hurt you. No, my friends make me grow, make me see what I don't see, show me my blind spots, tell me their real opinion. I may disagree. So if you tell me, Olga, this doesn't suit you, but I look in the mirror and I still love it, I don't care. I'll be like, okay, thanks. Some people might hate this. I like it. It reinforces how I feel about something. Or it gives me awareness about something I didn't really have awareness that is now important I do. So if you are the sensitive person who doesn't really appreciate people telling you something like, you know what, I don't like it when you're late, then ask yourself, how can I be okay being vulnerable enough that I allow people to be authentic around me? How can I grow my skin to be thicker so that I can hear this feedback and be okay with it? Because let me tell you something, you can. We all can. It's doable. I'm going to leave it at this. And I just want to leave you with the message, if I haven't already given you this message enough, that authenticity is linked to self-love. And self-love, you're just a choice, a decision away from that. You don't need to be perfect. That's a story you told yourself. I gotta be perfect so that I can love myself. No, you can love yourself today, right now, right at this moment. And if that sounds like so foreign to you, like, Olga, you're talking, visualize, pray that you can love yourself. Visualize, pray so you can lower the barriers that allow you to love yourself. Visualize yourself loving yourself. Give yourself a hug. Give yourself a physical hug if you can't visualize. Write anything around you, that mantras, words that speak to you, that tell you that you're loving. Catch yourself when you're being mean in your inner talk and correct that inner talk. You have no idea how powerful that is for self-love. It's incredible. And lastly, let others like you. Imagine if you stopped thinking that everybody does not like you and worrying so much about them not liking you, and you start just noticing who likes you. And all the people that show you kindness. If you just pay attention to this, if you decide to focus on that, what would that do to your self-love? What would that do to your perceptions? Download love, inner love. Operate from a place of, I am enough. I am worthy. I choose to stand by that belief that I am worthy. I refuse to operate under this umbrella, this shadow that I must become enough. I am enough. And if you don't think you're enough, then I want you to say, I am becoming enough. At least that way you feel that you're in that stepping forward of what you want to feel. I'm sending you all my love. I really, truly hope this speaks to you. I really hope that it moves the needle enough for you to decide that in order to stop pleasing people, to stop caring so much about what others think, you get to be authentic and unapologetically you. I want you to be unapologetically you. That if you don't want to go, you don't have to apologize to anybody. You just don't want to go and you don't go. You honor that. That if you love somebody, you don't have to be sorry or wondering if this is the right time to tell them. You tell them because you've got the feeling already. You may as well tell them. Shine through this month being unapologetically you. What area of your life you think you can start showing up with that attitude of just being who you are authentically, honestly, showing your true colors? Everybody wants to see everybody's true colors. We all want somebody to be honest with us. Let's be that person. Be the change you want to see in the world. And this world could use so many more authentic human beings. Let's be those. We're the badasses who are in a self-growth group called Reset Your Mindset because we want to make a difference in our lives and in the lives of every single human we touch. So by being authentic, I give you then permission and I show you how to. By you being authentic, you're going to be doing that with your families, with your children, with your friends, with your parents. So what do you say? We join forces? We download love? Let's do that. I know we can. I'm sending you all my love. I cannot wait to see how the downloading of love looks for each of you. Come to the calls. Tell me. Show up inside Slack. Comment in there what's happening. And let me guide you. Let me answer any of the questions you have about how does this actually integrate. Pay attention to your triggers and bring them to our calls. What's triggering you? How can you begin to love yourself? Let that love in. Talk to you soon.